did a model 3.1. Today we're going to using the same model.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
So let's start with that. And I already upload my models to the chat room in this meeting, so you can download them if you don't have it. Uh, Otherwise, whatever you had the last time, you should be able to use it directly. First of all, I want to ask if any question we have so far for with the respect to last lectures and models and everything. All right. If not, we're going to start with this lecture. And you can also download the model 3.2 and 3.1 directly from Canvas. They are also available on the chat rooms. You can download so you can follow along with me. Last time when we left off, we have two different job color. And in the beginning of the, when we generate or create a parts, and we actually assign several so-called model entity attributes, and there's 4 of them we're using right here. First is the job type, and the job type is assigned using a random discrete distribution with 30% of a chance for part type 1 and another 70% add up to 100% equals to job type 2. And also, the job status represent is a new parts or is a rework parts. So this is equal to 1 for now because it's just got created. The third one we have is the model entity dot priority, represent the priority of the jobs equals to the job type, since the job type equals to 1 or 2. So I set it accordingly to priority 1 or 2. Also, we want to set the picture, which is the green or red. I did it last time. So the model entity dot pictures equals to the job type, but the job type equals to 1 or 2, and but the entity pick of symbol represents 0 or 1. So therefore, I need to using job type -1. So that's what it is. So it's kind of a quick review what we did last time. And the parts coming through the machining center was set processing time. And then go through the inspection station. And the inspection station inspect the parts. And there's 3 possible outcomes. The 3 possible outcome is 80% goes to shipping, 10% goes to reject, and 10% goes to rework. So they got rerouted back to machining center again. So I'm using the so-called link weight, link selection weight, to define the probability going each direction. And also at the output node, for the inspection, instead of using the shortest pass process, I'm choosing which way to go by the link way. So it is probabilistic. So 80% going this way, 10% going reject, 10% go to rework. Everybody okay with the model so far? Before we're ready to move to new content, we're going to talk about this lecture. Question? All right. If there's no question, and we're going to continue, I'm going to waste time. I'm going to get hurry to finish this class as soon as possible so you can review this. One of the things we had it last time is we need to actually getting the different processing time for different part type with a different status. So status equals to 1 initially, and then goes here, we have a 2 different part type. Okay, we have a 2 different part type. So how I'm going to do this, and first, we're going to go to the data section. Okay, I'm going to create a table, add a new data table. Just click on here, it will add a table. The original called it table 1. So we're going to call it P table. Okay, we're going to call this table P table. And I'm going to add, I could add a real number or integer or Boolean, which is 0 and 1, of true or false. And then the fourth one is called expression. So if I add a P value, real value right here. So for example, I'm going to call this processing time. And I can put in 5, 4, 3, and 2 right here. Everybody see what I'm doing? If you see what I'm doing, actually, I put in a fixed number over here. But remember, the processing time for our parts is not just a single number. It's not a fixed number. It's actually random dot normal. And with a 5 and 2. Remember this?
Excuse me. This is Muhammad talking. Can you please repeat the, like when you add a table?
Oh, sure, I can. Here I'm typing random normal 5.2. Apparently it gives me an error. So the input string is not in the correct format. If you move your mouse over that arrow symbol. So this is not going to work. Because I insert a property called real, now I'm typing in a mathematical equation called random.normal. So this is not going to work. I'm going to remove that. Okay, I'm going to remove the whole table, for example. I can remove the table. I'm going to recreate it again. So first, you're going to add a table called table 1. I'm going to call this guy P table. Adding 1 column into this table, instead of insert a real number, so I can just type 5, 4, 3, 2, but I need to type in a random distribution. So here, I'm going to call it processing time. Everybody okay with me? So now I can type random normal and 2.
It's Jack speaking.
How did you extend?
Did you select expression for the property on that?
Expression. So it is going to be a mathematical expression instead of a fixed number. Okay, so this column we call the processing time, and you see right here is expression property. See this? In the property section, you will see that. Any more question before I move on? And then I can copy and paste a few times. Just give me a second. Since they are all normal distribution, so I copy and paste first. And the second one will be 4 and 1, correct? And the third one will be based on our PowerPoint, should be 3 and 1. And the last one's rework with type 2 will be 2 and 1. Everybody okay with me? We're lined up right here. The P table with the processing time column using expression. But please pay attention. What are these number means? These number means the processing time in the machining center, machining server. So this number randomly generated every time they got referred to it, but they should have a unit. So actually these numbers represent a time unit with a minute. So here, please remember, go into the unit type right here. In SIMIO, they will specifically tell them, oh, this is the time units I'm generating, and it's based on minute instead of hours. Question so far. I'm going really slow. Add a table, add a property called expression, rename it to processing time, changing the unit type into time. We have so many unit type right here. It could be length or weight or volumes, depends on your project domain, okay? Travel distance, acceleration, deceleration, and so on and so forth. It could be unspecified, just a single number. Here I'm going to using as a time and minute, meaning these are the processing time in minutes. Question for me. Okay, if you have a question, please turn on your microphone, address your name first so I know who's talking to me. All you can do is turn on your camera so it will pop up in front. So we have plenty of 20-some students. I cannot have all of you on the screen. So once you turn on your camera, it will pop up in the front so I can see who's talking. Or you address your name, I can identify there's a student asking question. Otherwise, many times you got ignored. Sorry about that. So here I'm going to adding another table, see if you agree with me. I'm going to adding another table called table 2. I'm just going to call it table 2. I'm going to adding 2 column of expression. The first expression is called new part P time. Okay. For the parts coming in was new. And the second column, I'm going to call it word P time. How's that? Again, using time and minutes. I'm going to be able to copy and paste information right here. And these two. So can you see what I'm doing so far? Okay, so I have a lineup in 1, one column represent only the new parts processing time, and first row represent the part type 1, second row represent part type 2. I can do either way, okay, P time and table. Let's do the table 2 first. It's more intuitive, and I show you how to streamline it using the P table right here. Initially, what I have is, first I have a job type, second I have a status. The job type equals to 1, them to referring to what? First column. If job status equals to 2, which means rework, I want them to refer to the second column. If job type equals to 1, well, I want them to referring to the first row. If job type equals to 2, I want them to referring to the second row. Is that okay? You guys learned this in your programming prerequisite called 2x2 matrices. Okay, matrix. Okay.
Can you?
So this
Jack.
is a little bit
Jack speaking.
more straightforward.
Could you highlight what you have in the second column?
What?
In the
Who is this?
This is Jack. Could you highlight what you have in the second column? The values that you have.
I just copy them over.
Okay, that's better. Thank you.
Is it just copy these into 2 columns? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of 1 column right here. So I have 5, 2 for part type 1 new parts, 4 and 1 for part type 2 new parts. Normal distribution 3 and 1 for rework type 1 part. And normal distribution 2 minutes and 1 minute for rework part type 2. Everybody okay? So how we're going to tie this into a processing time over here? So in this machine server, now we finish defining the table. We're going to come back to this machining center. This part of processing time, we need to, instead of originally I had is random normal 5.2. It's a fixed distribution. What I can do is now I'm going to expand this. Okay, see if you have a pull down button, just extend this. So now you can do table 2. See that? Everybody okay? So I'm going to refer as a C array or C matrix. So here I'm going to do is job type and status. Make sense? I mean, in terms of a concept, I want the first represent the row, second represent the column. So let's take a look how we're going to do this. So what we do is we're still going to continue to type this called model entity job types. Everybody see that? And model entity, since they are the attribute attached to each individual job, each individual parts entity. So we're going to do model entity status and square bracket. So I'm going to referring to table 2, the row referring by the job type and the column represented by the status. Everybody follow this? You've done this in C programming. So we can save and run this. So we have, let me run it a little bit faster. Oh, it's okay. We have green parts, we have red parts, and so on and so forth. Understand what I'm trying to do? Question for me so far. Are you able to follow? Please follow what I do in class. It saves you a whole bunch of time. You can read this by yourself in the textbook, take you a few more hours. I don't think it's worth it, okay? Here you spend about 45 minutes to a half hour, you learn everything. Okay. Now, here I have the parts coming in, but I haven't. Hello?
Hi, this is Simon. I have a question. So,
Okay.
when you entered 5241, 31, and 21, so 5, 4, 3, and 2 are the job types, aren't they? And then what would be the 2 and the 2 and 1s at the end?
I don't understand what was your question. The first column
I
represents
guess
the new parts. The second column represents the rework part. They have their different processing time in terms of minutes. First row represents the job type 1. Second row represents the job type 2.
I guess I just don't understand what the 5, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, and 2, 1 means.
That's a normal distribution with the mean and standard deviation. We had it in,
Oh,
if you go to, where is it? Our lecture, you should be able to see it. Okay, if you turn on this, this is the processing time follow normal distribution with the mean and standard deviation for the new part and for the rework part. Is that okay?
yeah, understood.
All
Thank
right.
you.
If you follow what I'm doing, now I'm done for the processing time portion. Now I'm going to start to take care of the rework route. This rework route, if I click on this, there's a path called rework, path rework. When the parts coming through this particular path, I need to reassign their status from 1 to 2 because status 1 represents the new part coming to the system. Once they're passing through this path, I need to set their path equals to 2 in that case. Again, so I'm going to extend the state assignments on this path. So I highlight this path and extend the state assignment. On entering means a parse entering this path, I'm going to assign a few things. Let's take a look. We've done this before, last lecture period. First, I'm going to do is the model entity. Okay, the model entity status. Status equals to 2 now. Model entity status equal to 2. Then I'm going to add a what? Oh, we need to change the priority out. Model entity priority equals to 3, the lowest priority so far. Okay. For the new part, type 1 job has the highest priority, type 2 job has a second priority. Now for the rework part, they have the third priority. Also, I would like to do visualize and see them. This is a rework part. So here what I'm going to do is change the model entity. I'm doing this multiple times so you see or review what I'm doing. The picture, okay, so I'm choosing the picture, actually equals to 2. So before the picture equals to 0 or 1 or job type -1, but here I'm using the third symbol called symbol number 2 and start from 0, 1, and 2. So the third symbol is 2. So I'm going to do this. So any parts coming through this path, I did 3 different assignments. First is changing their status equal to 2. And then I'm going to change their priority equals to 3. And also I'm changing the picture equals to 2, which is the third symbol referring in the model entity here. So here I'm going to add another symbol, correct? So choose the third symbol. I'm going to, let's do this. Do it as somehow this color. So we have 3 different color, okay? Green represent part type 1 new parts, red represent the part type 2 new parts, and these kind of light blue represent the rework parts. Let's see if it's working. Oh, you see some of the red parts coming over? Everybody see what I'm doing? Everybody see what I'm doing? So you do see some red, blue parts coming through as well. So we basically done all the requirement we need. So here is a couple assignment I want you to do is first we create a parts, assigning a whole bunch of model entity attribute, which is special local variable belongs to that particular part, is job type, status, picture, priority, and picture. Okay, once they're passing through these 2 workstations, 1 machining, 1 inspection, they can go to the shipping with 80%, and they can go to the reject with a 10%, and they can go to rework with a 10%. Well, once they go back, go into this pass, determine it is a rework part, I'm going to reassign some of those model entity attribute, job status equals to 2, and priority equals to 3, and picture equals to 2, which is the third symbol. And also this table, data table, we defined it with a row represent job type, column represent what? The status. We should be able to referring to the proper rows and column in this table for the processing time definer here. Any question before I move on to the new subject?
This is
Yeah.
Catherine. Can you show how to change the color of the part again? Of a new one?
Okay. This one?
Yeah.
So you have original 2 symbol, correct? You click, highlight this entity, add a new symbol, add additional symbol. So you see you have 3 symbols now, 0, 1, and 2. And choose the one you want to change the color. And then you just hit the color over there.
Okay.
Make sense?
It's not changing the color of mine for some reason. It just stays.
Why? Highlight the part, choose which symbol you want to change color, choose the color, and there becomes a crosshair, you see this? And click on that part. It's definitely going to change color. I'm going to change this to purple for now. Everybody okay? And then
This is
I'm going
Jack.
to change this to 30, give it a little bit higher percentage. going to start running it. You can see a lot more purple showing up.
When I run
Okay,
mine,
purple.
this is Jack. When I run mine, I only have red parts coming through. I don't have any green.
Why? I don't know. All the symbol colors supposed to be defined over the assignment portion of the picture. The picture should be model entity job type -1, which referring to your job type 1 and 2, -1 with referring symbol 0 or 1. And check the symbol you have right here. Should have a 2 different color. All right. Question again.
Can you click on machine and then so I can see what you typed in for processing time, please?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So machine, I'm referring to table 2, the row defined by model entity dot job type, the column referring by the model entity status. All right. This easy one. Let's do, what if you say, Dr. Wu, I don't like to using 2 by 2 matrix. It's kind of confused for me. Can I just use this table, which means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, how I'm going to do this. So that means type 1 job new part supposed to be referring to the first row, type 2 job with new parts supposed to referring to the second row, and type 1 job with a rework supposed to referring to the third row, and type 2 job with a rework supposed to referring to what? The fourth row. So can we do something figuring out which row I'm referring to? Can we do that? There's a question. Anybody has any thought? I want you to join me thinking about this process. So you're going to encounter many of this situation in your homework exam. So you should be able to figure this out yourself. You're an engineer. You are good at this. All right. Anybody have any suggestion instead of using a 2 by 2 matrix? Nobody have any idea how to do this? Can I do a referring to the role based on what? Job type plus status, can I? What happened is if job types equals to status equals to 1, which is a new part, plus the job type should be equals to 2, correct? All right. If job type status equals to 1, if it's job type 2, supposed to add it together equals to 3. If status equals to 2, which is rework, and plus 1 should be 2 plus 1 should be 3 again. And if the job types status equal to 2, where rework plus job type 2 is 2 plus 2 should be equals to 4. So we never has a chance to referring to row 1. Anybody has any suggestion? I trust your engineers so you can figure this one out. All right, nobody willing to answer that. You just waiting for me to give you the answer. So, all right, what I'm going to need to do is instead of referring to table 2, I'm going to refer to the P table. And I'm going to refer to processing time for some sense. Okay. P table, I'm going to refer to which row first. So here what we have is row, column, sorry, row and columns. What is the row? How do I determine the row?
Can you put a if statement?
Not right here. We do that later on. I need to come up with a row in the column. Column only since I only have 1, so I'm always going to refer to column 1. But the row situation, I need kind of let's do 1 first. Okay, I'm going to determine rows only. So the row is my major concern. Column is only 1 as a processing time column. So what I need to change a little bit since I wanted this to be, all right, model entity, job type, plus model entity. How's that? But with the current exercise, this is not going to work because 1 plus 1 equal to 2, 1 plus 2 equals to 3. 2 plus 1 equals to 3 again, and 2 plus 2 equals to 4. I want it to be sporadically access the row from 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here is my original thought, but it didn't work out too well. But I figured out the status state variable you have. Originally, I had it is the new part equals to 1, the rework part equals to 2. Can we somehow make some minor modification? Can we, using 0, represent the new parts and 2 represent the new rework parts? Can we do that? Heck, nothing wrong with that, correct? As long as I know what it means. So status equal to 0 represent the new part. Status equals to 2 represent a rework part. So instead of 1 and 2, I'm using 0 and 2. So 0 plus 1 equals to 1. 0 plus 2 equals to 2. So status plus job type actually give me a real nice result. So it's going to be accessing 1, 2, 3, and 4. The only thing changed is status. Before was 1 and 2, now it's 0 and 2. Question. So this has nothing to do with the syntax, is programming thinking. I'm going to rely on your training from the CIS 209 or other computer programming training you had. Is this okay? So this still running as it is. Next things. In our presentation, we want to know for this processing time, after you get processed, I want to know complete job by job type and depart from the system. Step 13. the reject part. See how many parts we got reject. And also I want to see how many parts going to rework. How I'm going to do that in this model. All right. I'm going to start showing the result of your simulation. So I'm going to fast forward the simulation to the end. All right. And gonna click on result button. Result tab, I'm sorry. The result tab showing me right here, first section is talking about your model entity, which is this guy. Okay. Result, we generate a 150 entity. We finish, how many? 133 total. So created 152 and I finished 130. I want you to score down the result. You can run your simulation as well to the end using a fast forward. I want you to score down, look at here, I have information on the path. I have statistic on the server, which is a 2 server. One is the inspection, the other is the machine. I want you to score down to the section called sync.
Professor Wu,
Yeah, who is this?
I have a quick question. When I was running
Who is
my
this?
model, it keeps
Who is
pausing
this?
and it says that the entity's length was changed while traveling on a link.
Who is this?
This is Sydney, sorry.
Huh?
This is Sydney Fitchett. When I was running my model, a pop-up keeps coming up saying that my entity's length was changed while traveling on a link. Does that normally happen?
No, but it doesn't matter. It's for your model for
So
now.
just press continue running.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah, for now it's not, doesn't matter. And we will illustrate how to change the length of an entity later on.
Thank you.
All right. And you see this section called sync, okay? Everybody had the model running to the end, okay? Finish your simulation. You come to the sync section, you see there's a shipping and the reject, which is 2 sync we have divided. First, I have 119 entity or parts coming through the sync called shipping department. We have 14 parts actually coming through the reject. So I know I have 14 rejects. Everybody okay? So for this represent, I know the reject has 14. I have 119 going through the shipping departments. And you asked me, Doctor, but I want to find out also how many going through the reward. Oh, let's see how many parts coming through this path called path reward. So you see that there are 44 parts coming through that reward path. Make sense? So you have 44 parts going through that path. So you know there's 44 parts need to rework. 119 coming through the sync, okay, called shipping. 14 of them coming through the sync called reject. And 44 due to the rework in the path section. So you see that why I changed the path name a little bit so I can identify right away which path it is. Everybody okay so far?
Yep.
Need to move.
This is Sunny again. Every time you're gonna run a simulation, is it gonna change the results then?
Not for now. Every time you run the simulation will come up exactly the same. And I will show you how to make it render. All right? Later on.
Thank you.
For now, since you just start to learn this software, and the software by default is using the same render number exactly every single time. So you see your changing or your, for example, your whatever you change, whatever you modify, actually using the same process. So you make sure the result different is not because the render number is more because it's because the whatever you change. Okay. Question for me. All right. If not, let's do one more thing. One of the requirement I have is trying to see if I want to count by job type instead of just collectively for both job type. How do I do that? For now, I'm going to show you. You only have one shipping departments going through here. Everything going through here, I need to distinguish which job type it is. A little bit more difficult than we need. The quick and dirty solution, you just make a copy of your shipping. So here I'm going to call it shipping type 1 right here. And I'm going to call this shipping 2 over here. So I create two different sync. I'm going to delete this link. All right. So somehow I need to divert my type 1 job into this sync, divert type 2 job into this sync. So what I do is I'm going to add a transfer node. See this blue diamond? Exactly like the one output node we have. Okay. I'm going to simulate this. So the parts coming through the inspection, going through this transfer node first. Then from the transfer node, I'm going to each individual shipping department. Everybody see what I'm doing? And again, since this is new, I need to do this is 80% going this direction for the regular shipping. But here also, I need to determine if job types equals to 1 go in this direction, if job type equals to 2 go in that direction. So what do? Instead of using a number, 80%, 20%, 80%, 10%, can I do something about it? Can I do model entity with job type equals to 1, go in this direction? And this, I'm going to make a copy equals to 2. So what happened using this, remember, notice I'm using a double equal. So this is basically an if statement right here. So these are the if condition. If job type equals to 1, this evaluation will return 1, and the other evaluation going to return 0. So 1 and 0. So that means 100% going this way. If job type equals to 2, this evaluation going to return 1. The other evaluation equals to 0, since it's not equal to 1. And then 100% will go in this way. Everybody okay with me? Questions so far? If not, again, I have to change this transfer node from using shortest path going to by link weight. All right, I'm going to fast forward one more time. Oh, shoot. Here I got arrows right here. What happened? It says the time delay getting a negative value. What's going on? Pay attention, we're using the normal distributions right here. Normal distribution is two-tailed distribution. I have 5, 4, 3, 2 as an average, or what I mean, and standard deviation 2, 1, 1, 1. But there is a slightly chance we might going under 0, correct? Everybody okay? Everybody okay? So we need to choose between what? Either this is positive or has to make sure they are positive. Okay, so what I need to do is for this processing time, I'm going to do a math dot. Okay, using this value or 0. So this value from the table returning to me a processing time, but could have a possibility this value will have a negative value since it's a normal distribution. If it is an exponential distribution, there was no chance that's going to be 0. But since this is a normal distribution, it could have happened. So what I need to do, if it is a negative value, I'm going to set it to 0. Otherwise, using that value. So I'm using a mathematical function called max. Between this value or 0, depends on which is bigger. Question for me? If not, we're going to finish the running, and you see that. Going to the result page one more time. And you see now I have similar 155 entity generated, processed 133, which is come out. Now I'm going to take a look at the sync section. Now I have 3 different sync sections. Shipping type 1, I have 37 coming through. Type 2 job, I have a 78 coming through that sync. So I ship about 78 type 2 jobs and ship about 37 type 1 jobs. So now I achieve my statistic, distinguish the shipping by job type. And also, again, from the rework, now I have 53 parts going through rework. Any question for me?
This is Catherine. Can you please go to the settings for the shipping? I had to restart my computer, so I didn't get the settings for those ones.
No problem. Go back to the facility. Let's terminate the stop the simulation and go back to the model. I delete the link between the shipping, this, and duplicate the sync and changing 1 to shipping department for type 1 job, another sync called shipping department by type 2 job. I'm adding a transfer node right here to represent a diverting node. And here again, I have 80% going this way to a shipping, 10% going to reject, 10% go to rework, okay? But after this transfer node, I'm changing the link weight to a logical expression. See if job type equals to 1, meaning this is a logical evaluation, it will return 0 or 1 as a result. So if current entity job type equals to 1, so the weight on this link will be 1, and the link, the weight on the other link will be 0. So 100% going through that direction. If happens the job types equals to 2 is true, so the weight on this link will path will be equals to 1, and the link on the other path equal to 0. So 100% going this direction. So actually the weight can be a dynamic evaluated upon arrival of the job entity. So I was able to divert job type 1 jobs to this sink, type 2 job into this sink. That's what we have. Look at the sink section. We have type 1, type 2 sink, and number going into each one of the sink equals to 37 and 78 respectively. Question for me. If not, we're going to conclude today's lectures, and